All right, you guys, welcome to the Miracle Center. Thanks for coming out on this snowy morning. I had a little dicey drive-in myself this morning, but I put Holy Spirit in charge and I made it. All right, so welcome, guys. Let's just take a couple minutes, and just breathe and get present. And just allow our minds to come here right now where our bodies are. And just allow our minds to come home to the present moment. Breathing in to the peace and the power and the presence that is here right now, waiting for us in the present moment. And let us practice the holy instant as A Course in Miracles teaches us how to practice it. And the way that we do that is we take this instant now and we treat it as if this is the only time there is. Now. And the other way that we practice the holy instant is that we take this instant now and we give it to Spirit, our higher loving right mind, and we ask it to be in charge. Spirit, self we share, be you in charge of this healing circle that we are co-creating here, and decide for peace and healing and joy for us. For we are certain that your direction, Spirit, will and does bring us peace. This holy instant do we give to you, Spirit, be you in charge. For we are certain that your direction does bring us peace. Spirit, we give you this gathering. We give you thanks and gratitude for this opportunity to come together and listen to these healing ideas together, that we might accept our healing as we extend it to the world. Thank you for this time. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this healing circle. And taking a moment now to remember the self we share. Remembering together we are one self, united with our Creator. And we are at one with every aspect of creation. And we take a moment to feel and appreciate the one self we are, the one self that is still whole, that is still complete, that lacks for nothing. We appreciate the one self that we are, that has remained exactly as we were created by perfect love in the moment of our creation. Nothing has changed. We still remain exactly as we were created by love. And for just a moment, we appreciate that, and we give thanks for that, and we feel that our true self. We feel and remember and appreciate our true self. Beautiful. And to that we say amen. All right, you guys. Okay. So I think this is our last Course in Miracles class of 2025. And we're still alive. It is a Course in Miracles. Hi, guys. Come on down. Okay. So those of you, welcome those online. Hi, Mary. Lovely to see you. For those of you who are just arriving, we are going to be in chapter 6. If you have the blue covered edition, it's chapter 6, section 1, paragraph 17. And it starts with, I do not need gratitude. And if you are in any version of the original edition, then it is chapter 6, section 2, and it's titled Projection and Separation. Okay? All right. Anybody need to hear that again? All right. And I'm going to put that here on the screen for you guys watching online. Now, okay. Okay, so I'm going to tell you first. Okay, I've titled this section, The Only Way, and only is underlined, the only way that you can find happiness in this world. The only way. Okay, so in one of the paragraphs in this section, it says, this is the only way to find happiness in this world. Okay, so I just want you to hear what the purpose of this section is. You're going to hear the only way to have happiness in this world. And it's not anything of what you would imagine that it is. Okay? Now, the same as the only way to find happiness in the world is, this is the only way to find happiness through what you're going through right now that doesn't feel good. So if you've got something going on that doesn't feel good and you're wondering, how can I be happy going through this, being here in this crazy place? Slavelandia, I like to call it. The ego world. This is the only way to have happiness while you're going through what you're going through. And this is the only way to have happiness here in the ego world. Now, does that sound practical? Does that sound useful? Okay, great. Okay, that is what the purpose of this is. That's the title. And now we're going to hear how to experience happiness in this place or through what you're going through. Okay, here we go. And it says, it begins with, it says, I do not need gratitude. So you everybody see that sentence? I do not. Okay. So this is the voice of the Course, our teacher speaking to us. You'll also see that it's also God speaking to us in this sentence, where it says, I do not need gratitude any more than I needed protection. So this is the voice of the Course saying, I didn't need protection, even though the ego was attacking me, I didn't need protection. And also, I don't need your gratitude. So, you know how when you go to different religious services, doesn't matter what the religion is, it's all about praising God, or praising Jesus, or praising Allah, like, oh, praise God. And then here we're being told, I don't need that gratitude. I don't need your gratitude, just like I don't need your protection. I don't need you to tell me how great I am, says God to us. God says, I don't have an ego with which to receive your praise, such praise, okay? So I don't need you to tell me how great I am. I don't have any ego to receive that, but I do need you, what he says, but you do need to develop your weakened ability to be grateful. Okay, so say what? I have a what? What are you saying? What you saying about my gratitude? I'm saying your gratitude is weakened. Your gratitude is weak. You know, how do we know that our gratitude is weak? Well, what do we spend more time doing? Expressing gratitude or complaining? Anyone? Yeah, I got a weakened ability to be grateful. I have a weakened ability to be grateful. Because now my ability to complain, that's good. That's strong. That's great. That doesn't need any help. He says, so our teacher and God is saying here, I don't need your gratitude, but you do need to develop your weakened ability to be grateful. Wow. And the reason is that we need to develop our weakened ability to be grateful is because if your ability to be grateful is weak, then you can't appreciate God. Whoo-wee. You can't know God, appreciate God, enjoy God's rewards, enjoy and accept the love of God, feel the ecstasy of God's love, accept God's gifts, appreciate how much God loves you without your ability to be grateful strengthened. Wow. Such that our first go-to response should be grateful, gratitude, instead of like, if this were different, I'd be happy. That's our first go-to. If this were different, I'd be happy. That is the opposite of gratitude, okay? Of Course in Miracles says that's lack. That's a grievance, okay? So we need to develop our weakened ability to be grateful so that we can appreciate the gifts of God that are always being given to us. Now it says, God does not need your appreciation, but guess what? You do. You need your appreciation. Wow. Why? Why do I need my appreciation? Because I cannot love what I do not appreciate. And fear makes appreciation impossible. Okay? And so, what does that mean? That means whenever you are afraid of what you are, you do not appreciate what you are, and you will therefore reject what you are. Okay. So, do we appreciate ourselves? Or do we reject ourselves? What's our first go-to response to ourselves? When was the last time you were like, thank you, self. I really appreciate what you just did. I really appreciate that you read your workbook lesson this morning, even though you were in a bad mood. I really appreciate that when you wanted to attack and condemn that person, you didn't. I'm so proud of you. I really appreciate you, self. Anybody? Anybody say that this morning? I really appreciate you, self, for your good efforts. I really appreciate you, self, for your good efforts today. It says, if you do not appreciate yourself. What does it say? It says, whenever you're afraid of what you are, you don't appreciate what you are, and you will therefore reject what you are. Now, if you reject what you are by not appreciating what you are, by not appreciating your good efforts that you are making, if you're rejecting what you are and only focusing on your errors and your mistakes, then it says you're rejecting yourself. And when you reject yourself, you teach rejection. Now, who in here would like to be a teacher of rejection? Anybody want to sign up for that? What do? I'm a teacher of rejection. I teach rejection. I reject myself and I reject everybody else. and I reject what's happening, and I reject them, and I reject the politicians, and I reject everybody, and I condemn and judge. That's what I do. The pay is great. In this world, it actually is, you know. In this world, whoever rejects the best seems to get paid the best. Okay, so if you're rejecting what you are because you don't appreciate what you are, you're believing that what you are is what you made yourself to be, or what the people in the past made you to be instead of what God created you to be. You're going to be a teacher of rejection. Okay, so you could teach rejection if you wanted to, but the power of the children of God, our power, is operating all the time because we were created as creators. Okay, so you could be teaching rejection if you want, but remember that your power is operating all the time. So whatever it is that you are teaching with a power that is operating all the time. In other words, your mind, it never sleeps. Your power is always operating. So what is it that you want to teach? Now, thinking about that, your power is operating all the time because you were created as creators. So we were created as creators. That's what we were created to do. We weren't created to be doers. We were created to create. We were created to create. Okay. And that's why our influence on each other is without limit. And so our influence on each other must be used for our joint release, our joint freedom. Our power is operating all the time because we were created as creators. And what does that mean? That means our influence over each other is what? Is without limit. Dang. My influence, our influence on each other is without limit. Okay? That means there's nothing that our loving intent cannot do on behalf of the world. Our influence on each other is without limit. Wow. Okay. And so our unlimited influence on each other, is it on or over each other? On each other, must be used for our joint freedom. That's what we must be using our influence on each other for. We have an unlimited influence on each other. There's no limit to how I can support you and help you. There's no limit on how much you can support or help others. There's no limit on how much good you can do for others. And so we must use our unlimited influence on each other for our joint release, our joint freedom. Okay? Now, and so how is it that we use our unlimited influence on each other for our mutual release, our mutual freedom? This is how you do it. Each person must learn to teach that all forms of rejection are impossible, are meaningless, utterly meaningless. We must use our unlimited influence on each other to teach that rejection is that all forms of rejection are utterly meaningless. That is what we are meant to use our unlimited influence on each other to teach. All forms of rejection are meaningless. Love does not reject. I don't reject myself anymore. I don't reject others. All forms of rejection are utterly meaningless. Wow. That's what we are being called to use our unlimited influence on each other to teach, to demonstrate. Let's take a breath on that. Wow. Yes.
Can you put this in the context of the level of cause and versus effects? Because certainly at the level of the world, it doesn't feel like I have unlimited influence on
others to teach them that all forms of rejection are utterly meaningless. To reject is utterly meaningless. To reject is utterly meaningless. You know, you can't reject something that is a part of you, which means you can't reject something that's already a part of you. You have never been rejected by your source, by your creator. Rejection is utterly meaningless to our creator. Our creator never rejects. Love never rejects. And we can't reject what is a part of us. We can think, we can try to, and think that we reject. I reject you. I reject you. I don't see myself as a part of you. I'm excluded from you. I'm better than you. I'm less than you. We can try to reject parts of ourselves, those who are a part of ourselves, but we can only teach ourselves misery. We can only teach ourselves unhappiness. Every time I reject what is a part of me by condemning them, seeing myself as different than you, seeing myself as less than you, seeing myself as better than you, seeing myself as different than you, excluding you from me, excluding me from you, all I am doing is nothing except making myself believe that I have been rejected and that I am rejectable. And all my fear of love comes because I believe that I have been rejected or that I can reject. That I have been rejected. All my fear comes because I believe I can be rejected. So now I'm afraid of love. Now I'm afraid of you. Now I'm afraid of God. Now I'm afraid of everything. Everything that creeps and crawls and breathes and lives at all. Now I'm afraid of love. I'm afraid to be loved, and I'm afraid to love because I believe that I can be rejected. And since I believe that I can reject, now I believe I'm alone. And as soon as I believe I'm alone, now I'm scared. And as soon as I realize I'm not alone, I have not rejected those who are part of me. I have not been rejected by God. I cannot be rejected. Now I know I'm not alone. Now I am no longer afraid. You ever notice that when you like connect with someone and you're totally connecting, all of a sudden your fear vanishes? That's why the statistics show that when people join in support groups, people who are going through some kind of crisis, and they join in a support group, the survival rates just shoot through the roof. Because now the people in that support group, even though they're going through something frightening, don't feel alone. Right? And so then their fear goes down. And then when your fear goes down, your immune system goes up. Your body responds. Okay? So because our influence on each other is unlimited because we are created as creators, we must use our unlimited influence on each other to teach that all forms of rejection are impossible. Okay. So that's what we're going to hear about in this section. Okay. Now, so you're going to be hearing now how this leads to what the opening purpose was, which was This section is teaching us the only way to find happiness in this world. Once you teach that all forms of rejection are impossible, you will know that your own rejection is impossible, and you will have no more fear of love. And having no more fear of love, you're going to stop sabotaging it. You're going to stop pushing it away from yourself with all the crazy things that you do to push love away, to prove that we're not lovable. That's what we do. That's why ego's always doing. Do this crazy thing so that you can prove to yourself how you are unlovable. Nobody can love you, so you can be right. That's what ego's telling us to do all the time. I want you to attack, give guilt, do crazy stuff, reject, condemn, exclude, so that you can prove to them how unlovable and how unworthy of love you really are. That's our ego's guidance all the time. Hey, yes.
And I just want to circle back to this idea of making it practical in the world. And where I'm coming from is that one of the things that I learned as a child and through young adulthood was that rejection was the means of setting boundaries.
Sure, right. Very good.
And
very good.
I lived in confusion about what boundaries are. I took them very negatively. The idea of healthy boundaries was, alien to me. In fact, I wasn't even here, didn't even know that until relatively recently, the last decade or two. So I have to unlearn the association that I was programmed with that boundaries mean rejection.
Gotcha. But thank you for bringing that up, that you learned in the past that boundaries was rejection, that rejection was how you set boundaries. And you didn't learn how to set that setting boundaries is not rejection, right?
What's
Beautiful.
An example of that, man? I mean, setting boundaries, what boundaries?
Interpersonal boundaries.
Interpersonal boundaries. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And being in a place where not only can I set a boundary in a healthy way, preferably, but I can constantly reinforce that boundary if necessary, but do it in a loving way.
Right.
Because if I can set if I set a boundary based on rejection,
right, then you're teaching rejection.
Then I'm teaching rejection, and if I try to reaffirm that boundary, ultimately I'm rejecting myself.
That's right. That's right. And you're teaching yourself that you're not worthy of love. Right.
Exactly.
Well, so in terms of rejection and boundaries, you think about a parent. Okay. The parent, here's a child, the little kid running with a pair of scissors. The parent going and taking those scissors from the running child, is that parent rejecting that child? When the parent takes the scissors out of the child's running hands, the parent is not rejecting the child. The parent is protecting that child with love. Okay. So rejection in this context of this section, rejection means separation and it means exclusion. We're different. I'm not like you. We're not like them. I would never do that. We're different. I'm better, or I'm less than. So this is the context in which they're talking about rejection. Yes, Kelly.
I just met a new friend, and as he and I correspond back and forth on text, I noticed that his grammar isn't right. So when he says, "you're so sweet," or "you're whatever," it's why you are. And so I practiced this, exactly what you're talking about, in this relationship, and embraced that part instead of judging it. Because at first I was like, ooh, that kind of, I'm good at grammar. I've always been good at writing. That kind of, I noticed that. And this person is like spirituality is similar, depth, a lot of, it was like a lot of similar things. And so what happened when I embraced that, and I shared this with a friend too, because I shared something that he shared with me, and I said, I know the grammar. I said, but I embrace him. I embrace it. And once I embrace that as just part, that's just part of who he is. His
That's right.
expression. It opened up so much more, and that just kind of like became a part of like how I know how he's communicating with me. And so unknowingly, but this happens all the time, right? Like I've practiced this, and I can feel and see the beauty in it, because I didn't, if I reject that one part of him, I'm not always like annoyed that, I'm going to teach him, I'm going to tell him, why are you supposed to be RE?
Yes, right.
But I just softened. And
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
And that's a great example of what he's talking about. The rejection is where we go, I'm different than you. We're different than them. I would never do that. I'm not like that. Okay. Exclusion. So rejection, exclusion, separation. Okay. So that is the term in which they're, like in your example too, the rejection would be the exclusion. Well, I'm different from him. And I'm better than him. I'm better than him. That's the rejection, right? That it's referring to here. Yes.
And just a small kind of odd example. I mean, this is I grew up I went to college in the 60s, late 60s, but my parents, my mother, I remember when I came home my second year, she set up this rejection where don't like any guy with long hair.
And who, of course, were you attracted to?
Guys with long hair.
Of course. No, of course. Silly mommy.
Weird boundaries for us, or set things that
Yes.
maybe
Yes, exactly. And so rejection, you could also, it's also condemnation. It's judgment. I'm different than that person, and of course I'm better. Ha ha ha. Of course, who always judges and only judges themselves as less than. Right. So it's a judgment that says I'm different, I'm better, or I'm less than. It's an exclusion. I'm not like them. We're not like them.
And no real facts to back that up.
Oh, never. Never. It's the basis of the ego's belief system, and it's the basis of the world religions that we all have. It's all based on exclusion. We're not them, and that's why we're so awesome. You don't be like them. There's something wrong with them. If they don't believe like we do, they're wrong, and we're better than them. Rejection, exclusion. Okay. It's what the whole ego world is based on. What'd you say? What if we are? What'd you say? Yeah, right. Spoken like a true Aries. What if it's true that we are better than them? Yeah. Well, lucky for you and all of us, it can never be true. Because if it was true, you'd be alone. You'd be alone. Yes.
I just keep thinking about this section in the book where it talks about the ego analyzes, right?
Mhm.
It judges, and the Holy Spirit accepts. Right?
Yes.
The opposite of rejection.
Right. Yes. That's right.
Acceptance.
Acceptant. Perfect. Yes.
Judge,
Mhm.
analyze,
Yes. Exactly.
and remove that all and then accept.
Exactly. Okay, so now we're going to go into more in depth of the details around the whole notion of separation and rejection and exclusion. We're going to go do a little deep dive into it. And then it's going to take us back to the light, which is what we are supposed to be doing instead of rejecting and excluding rejecting each other, rejecting ourselves and excluding ourselves from each other and the universe. Okay. All right. So it's going to get a little thick in paragraph number 2. So I'm just going to stay with me. I'm just going to read through it. And then it's going to take us back out to the light. All right. Just so you know where we're going. So when you start to like kind of nod out and start to list over to the right, then just breathe through it. All right. Okay. Beautiful. Thank you, Carla. Carla's acknowledging my outfit. Thank you. Most important thing of all. Thank you. Oh, okay. I need another Libra Virgo to confirm that for me. All right. Okay, great. Okay. Beautiful. Hi, Justin. Hi, Leanne. Let me see. Okay, paragraph 2. The separation. Oh, it's paragraph 2 for me. The next paragraph starts, the separation is the notion of rejection. Is that what it is in your book?
No, it's still the same paragraph.
Okay, so when you're looking for this sentence, it says the separation is the notion. Okay, remember, the course talks about the separation, how we ran away from God, the separation, the detour into fear. It is the notion of rejection. That whole separation, the one problem that we have, belief in separation, it's the notion of rejection. The separation is the belief in rejection. And as long as you teach rejection, guess what? You still believe rejection. Now, rejection is not as God thinks. And you must think as God thinks if you are to know God again. You want to know God again? You got to think like God. God doesn't ever think about rejection, ever. Ever, 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 ever. The notion never crosses God's mind. It didn't come from God. God doesn't think in terms of rejection, much less separation. And if you want to think like God and experience God, then you got to think like God. And that means we got to drop the notion of rejection. You got to drop it. It's an illusion. We don't want it because we don't want to teach it. We don't want to experience it. Now, it says, and any split in mind, any split in will must involve a rejection of part of it. And rejecting part of your mind is the belief in separation. That's how the whole separation came to be. I'm going to reject a part of my mind. God, I reject you. God, I reject you. You're not going to make me special. You're not going to give me something more than you give all your other creations. Then I reject you, God. And that's how the separation happened. We rejected God. We said, see ya, God. I'll go make up my own reality where I can be special. I can have something just for me. Okay, we rejected God. We ran away from home. That's how this whole dream started, with a notion of rejection, where we're going to reject our Creator and go create our own reality according to what we want for ourselves. That's how the whole mess started. Now, the wholeness of God, which is God's peace, cannot be appreciated except by a whole mind. And what is a whole mind? That's a mind that recognizes the wholeness of God's creation. And by this recognition, that mind knows its creator. Okay, so what's a whole mind? A whole mind is a mind that recognizes the wholeness of God's creation. That's a whole mind. That's a healthy mind. That's a healed mind. Okay, a split mind is a mind that has rejected parts of the mind, the one mind we share. I reject you. You're not a part of me. I reject you, God. I'm not a part of you. And I reject everybody who doesn't think like me and everybody who I don't like. Okay, that's a split mind, and a split mind is a sick mind. And a sick mind produces a sick body. Okay, so so a whole mind, which makes for a healthy body, is a mind that recognizes that all of God's creations are one. Meaning you can't reject part of it. We're all the same. We're all equal. We're all God's creations. They're all the same. They're all equal. That's what a whole mind, a healthy mind, recognizes. That all of God's creations are the same. They are equal in perfection. End of story. There can't be any rejection. The mind is one. Okay? Okay, I love it. So, and I love it how the wholeness of God is God's peace. So that would have to mean that the wholeness of our mind is the peace of our mind. And as long as we're rejecting parts of our mind that we're one with, then our mind's going to be split and our mind's going to be sick. So if I got a sick situation, if I've got a sick body, if I've got sick relationships, if I've got a sick life in any way, shape, or form, it is because I am teaching rejection. I am believing that something that is part of me ain't part of me because I don't want it to be part of me. I don't want to be part of them. I definitely don't want to be part of them. And I definitely don't want to be part of them. And they don't want to be part of me. Okay. So wherever it is that I'm experiencing sickness, I'm experiencing not wholeness, which means I am practicing rejection of a part of me by judgment or exclusion. All right. So I want to ask myself, where is it that I am judging or rejecting someone who is a part of me? Where is it that I am excluding someone who is actually a part of me? Where is it that I'm telling myself, I'm not like them and they're not part of me, right? Where is that in that situation where you're experiencing not right-mindedness? Did you want to say something, Andres?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about rejection and trying to figure out how subtle it can be. So if I'm with a friend and I'm seeing something and I offer advice, is that a rejection? Because I'm trying to change what I see, or I'm trying, you know what I mean? Like, I just see it as like there's a hole in front of me.
Yeah,
It's just like,
right. Well, the rejection, the content of the rejection is, I'm not like that. I'm not like them. I'm better. So if your offering of advice is coming from a, I'm not like them, I don't think like that, here's my correction, then that's rejection. But if you're sharing with somebody and truly your attitude is, we are exactly alike. I got an ego too that tells me the exact same thing, and also here, this person's just like me. They're an innocent child of God who just doesn't know it. If your attitude, so your attitude. So the rejection is, I don't think like that. That's not me. I'm not like that. Or I used to think like that before I got enlightened. Remember that one? But not anymore. Okay, that's rejection.
To tag along to that, we've had conversations, Andres and I, and there's things that you share with me that I can feel are coming from a place of love and of we are alike and this is my perspective, and I haven't felt rejection.
Right, beautiful.
Yeah, it's like how it feels and your intention.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's nothing that anybody could say or do that you could not say Yeah, my ego does and says the same thing in different form, maybe. There's just nothing, and there's nobody who's in their right mind where you couldn't say, wow, that's like my right mind too, right? So the rejection comes in where you see yourself as separate or different. And usually that entails thinking that I'm better than or I know more than, because that is the default setting of the ego. The ego's like, we're different and I'm better. Any questions?
Yep.
That's it.
I'm gonna make you a t-shirt.
That's it. Thank you. There's one of those buttons.
Right?
We're different and I'm better. Have a nice day. Any questions? That's the rejection, which is the separation, which is the exclusion. I'm excluded from that. We exclude you from us, right? Okay. So these are all synonyms: rejection, separation, exclusion, and dissociation. I'm not like that. I'm not like them, right?
I do find that so hard that when you said like, oh, I'm more enlightened, like I feel like as I heal certain
Right,
things,
yeah.
it's really hard for me like to see someone that's really stuck in a place of like these things that I've like, I've worked really hard
Yes.
to not be a victim. And so it's
Yes.
like for
I'm
me
not-
it's really hard for me
to not correct them.
love them and
Yes.
to not be like into like in my mind too, I was just realizing my ego's like, oh, I need to be vigilant against this, so I don't want that.
Exactly.
That's my protecting
That's
my
great.
mind.
Very good.
But it
Yes.
almost feels like it's coming from my ego in this way.
Right.
I can't be around this.
Exactly. That's a really great point. So when somebody says something to you that you believe you've learned better, you're tempted to reject their perception that you're telling yourself, I've learned better. I know I'm not a victim. Ha ha. Ha ha. What were you upset about yesterday? What was that? What was it you were complaining about yesterday? Yeah. Only victims complain. Because somebody who knows the truth would go, why am I doing that to myself again? Let me see. Higher self, would you please correct that for me? Yeah, that's what someone, but victims go, I can't believe they blah, blah, blah. I would never do that. I remember when I used to do that. So, yeah, thank you. That's a really great point, that we're tempted to reject what other people believe, thinking that we don't believe like that anymore. But the fact that we would be rejecting them, which often is couched in, I'm going to correct them, right? I don't remember what I was going to say. Okay. Thank you. Period. Thank you. Thank you for finishing my sentence for me. Okay. So here we go. So we're on the sentence that now starts exclusion and separation. Everybody see that sentence?
Yes.
Okay. Exclusion and separation and rejection, they're all synonymous. So are separation and dissociation and rejection are synonymous. We have said before that the separation was and is dissociation. I'm dissociating myself from you. Once that dissociation from them, that rejection of them has occurred, then guess what's got to happen now? Projection becomes your rejection's main defense. In other words, projection becomes the main defense that keeps the rejection going. So once I have rejected you, once I have excluded myself from you, once I have dissociated myself from you, I would never do that. I'm not like them. Then the thing that has to come in next is projection to protect the rejection. Okay, so I've told myself I'm not like you. I've dissociated myself. I've separated myself from you. I've rejected you. And now I got to project onto you the cause of that rejection. Now I've got to say the reason that I have separated, the reason I have rejected you is because of you. It's because of you. And then it says, and the reason why the projection defends the rejection is because, and it may not be as clear to you as you may think, what you project, you disown, and therefore do not believe is yours. You are therefore excluding yourself from what you're rejecting by the very statement you are making that you are different from someone else. You are excluding yourself from that rejection by the very statement that you are making that you are different from someone else. Okay? And since you have also judged against what you project, now you attack what you project because you have already attacked it by rejecting it. Now, by doing all this rejecting and projecting and rejecting, by doing it all unconsciously, you're trying to keep the fact that you must have attacked yourself first out of your awareness, and thus imagine that you have made yourself safe. So I believe that projecting and rejecting keeps me safe. How about you guys? We were just talking about that. Exactly. After I reject you, then I have to project onto you that you made me do it and it was justified in order to keep the fact out of my awareness that I just punched myself in the face or gave myself a cold or gave myself some financial heartbreak or gave myself some relationship issues. You know, after I reject you, then blame it on you. Now I have to hide from myself that I rejected myself, that I just attacked myself. Yes, Kelly.
This feels pretty emotional for me because my brother-in-law has been trying to help my husband and I through all kinds of things. And there are times when I feel so much pressure from him for the things that he needs to get done and needs us to respond to. And so this lesson is so beautiful because what it's doing is helping me realize, okay, the first thing, and the next time I talk with him is, okay, why am I feeling that way? And handling those feelings and communicating maybe, oh, this is too much for today. I need to get back to you in a week. Just being able to even be loving in the way that I see myself, feel my feelings, communicate to him. Because this is what I've done is I'm seeing now, even in my marriage, that we can both go, yeah, isn't he such a jerk? I know he's helping us, totally rejecting him. In his methods are stressing us out. And this is huge. And so kind of just, I'm reversing back to the very beginning of how when he calls next or emails next, how can we look at that? Because we have a good rapport and work together well, but this is, this is huge.
Yeah, I mean, where whoever is coming from a position of we're different and I know better what's going on than you do, that person is actually rejecting. That person is doing exclusion and separation and dissociation. You know, what love does, what peace does, is it doesn't exclude anyone from it. It doesn't say, well, we're different and I'm better, meaning I know more, I'm right. So
I think too, it's also in maybe the way that we're reading, either hearing him or reading the email, because you can read it from love. Right?
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you feel like his advice is coming from projection, separation, exclusion, rejection, then you are innocent to say, thank you so much. So appreciate your loving efforts. I really do. And it's just not helpful at this time, but really thank you. We really appreciate the intent.
That's good to say.
Okay. Yeah, and that is setting a boundary without practicing rejection. Okay. So love also says no. Love is the one who takes the scissors out of the child's hand. The child is running, screaming down the hallway. And, the other day I gave someone the example. I said, if your child is hitting you, do you let the child keep hitting you because you don't want to be seen as mean? Well, I don't want them to think I'm not a loving parent, so I'm going to let them hit me. No, a loving parent goes, all right now, that's not okay. I'm going to put you in a padded room behind this locked door for a minute until you come back to your right mind. I love you. Yeah, exactly. Lock. So just remember, love also says no, so don't, that whole spiritual thing of like, well, if you're spiritual, you can't say no to someone who's abusing you. That's not what love does. Love also says no when the child is hurting themselves or others, which is the same thing.
What if the love, the help, and support that you're getting is not coming from the separation? What if it's coming from a higher mind? And I'm here, have this separation, thinking this person, oh, they probably think that they know better than I do.
Mm-hmm.
They probably think that they're better than I am.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Trying to help.
they're trying to help.
Mm-hmm.
But what if they're not?
Right.
And I am
Yes.
one who's separated from God.
Yeah, well, there's a pretty good chance that that's the case. There's a pretty good chance that is the case. Absolutely. Exactly. When somebody is truly coming from real love, real truth, they're always coming from we're the same, we're equal, and I'm just reminding you of what I need to remember myself. You see the difference? Somebody's like, this is what you need to do. Listen to me. I know better what you should do. That is somebody who is coming at you not from real love, not from truth, not from awareness. That is somebody who's coming at you from we're different, which means exclusion and rejection. I'm not like you, and I'm going to now tell you what you should do. Okay, that is not where real love ever comes from. Real love, real truth, real help always comes from we're exactly alike. God loves you exactly as God loves me. God's given to you everything exactly like what God given to me and everybody. We all have exactly the same thing. We all have the same ego. We all have the same higher self. And let me help you remember so that I can remember for myself. Do you see the difference? In the difference in the two different advices that you're getting from other people. When I am having a problem, I want somebody to say to me, yep, we all have the same ego. My ego tells me the same thing. I'm working on that too. Let's see if we can remember together what the truth is that's been established for us both. Do you see that? I would much rather receive that help than somebody go, oh my God, Anna, let me tell you where you're wrong. And how I can tell you what you need to think or do differently. In other words, a place of correcting, instead of accepting, instead of we're the same, equality. Real healing, real love always comes from a place of equality. We are the same. And let's see if we can remember together what we've both forgotten together. So thank you for asking that question as to how to discern where it's coming from and how to discern whether you are rejecting real love, instead of accepting it, if that's the case.
And really quickly, a new tool that I've learned from Heather and from Greg and various others is, I think if that happened to me, I could say, God, show me, is this
Mhm.
person coming from?
Yeah.
Or God,
Yes.
show me, am
Yeah.
I seeing this as?
Yeah.
It's a new tool that
Yeah.
I found out.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so here we go. Now, the next sentence we're starting is the sentence that says, projection will always hurt you. Period. Projection will always hurt you. Period. Okay. Now, why is that? That projection will always hurt you? Because projection reinforces your belief in your own split, sick mind, and projection's only purpose is to keep your ego going. Woo! I project onto you what I don't like in myself, thinking I'm making myself safe. But really, I'm just keeping my ego going, making my ego stronger. Projection is solely a device of the ego to make you feel different from others, which means separated from them. Wow, that is the sole purpose of projection, is to make me feel different than others. Different than others, which means separated from them. Okay? Now, my ego justifies this projection on others, that how I'm different from them, on the completely spurious grounds that my projection on them makes me seem better than they are, thus hiding my equality with them still further. So the whole purpose of me projecting onto you is to make me feel different from you, and I justify that rejection and projection onto you by on the grounds that it makes me seem better than you. That's what projection's all about. I'm different than you, and that projection and the differences I perceive between me and you justify they make me seem better. That's the whole purpose of projection.
And I'm just internally substituting the word special for better.
Perfect. Absolutely. Okay. So then, and then the next paragraph in my book says, so projection and attack are inevitably related because projection is always a means of justifying attack. Woo! I'll say it again. Projection is always a means of justifying attack. And that's why anger without projection is impossible. Period. What is it that you're feeling angry about most recently? That's projection. Whew. Projection is where there's something that something I've rejected in myself. I've rejected myself somehow. I'm not good enough here. I'm not enough there. I'm not good enough this. I don't have that. I'm not enough of this. I'm bad at this. You know, I reject myself, and then I project my rejection onto you, and I go, "Ew, you are exactly what I just rejected myself for." Total mirror. I project it onto you, and then I use that as a justification for my attack, and I use that as the grounds to make me seem better than you. That's projection. Help me. Yes.
Another film clip of somebody being pulled off the streets, minding their own business, shoved in a van by masked.
Yes.
What should I be thinking? Spiritual,
Very good. What would?
you son of a bitch,
Okay.
this is kidnapping.
Gotcha. Right. Gotcha.
And what the hell's wrong with you?
Right. Gotcha.
What's a spiritual equation?
That's a great question. So, okay. So you're saying that what you felt angry about most recently was watching on TV or wherever somebody being mistreated, somebody being poorly treated, right? Unfairly treated. The anger, it says here, your anger is a projection. In other words, look how they are mistreating other people illegally. Okay. And so the projection is the rejection of what I do not like in myself. Have you ever mistreated another person? Okay. Well then, end of conversation. Okay. Now, so, right. Well, how about emotionally? Have you ever kidnapped anybody emotionally? Anybody hijacked anybody else emotionally? With guilt. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I know. Sorry. Don't use that word on the airplane. Okay. So then it goes, so we're going to answer your question. So then it says, the next sentence is, anger without projection is impossible. The ego uses projection only to distort your perception of both them and you. And projection begins by excluding something which you think exists in you, which you don't want, and then leads directly to your excluding yourself from them. So projection goes, I would never do that. I've never done anything like that. Thinking that in terms of form, I would never do that. I've never done that. And then you project that onto other people. And then you experience anger. The anger is a projection, right? So that's what projection is. But the truth is that there's nothing that we could see of anybody else doing that we can't say in content that we haven't done. We have hijacked other people emotionally. We have manipulated people with guilt. We have attacked people. We have done all those things, but we don't like that. I don't want to see in myself that I have manipulated emotionally and attacked and giving guilt. And, I don't want to recognize that I have attacked my brothers and sisters. And so I project that on, I go, look how they're attacking like that. That's terrible, right? And then I use that projection as the grounds to make my attack seem justified and make me seem better and different than them. Now, so the correct interpretation would be, look how this person is being mistreated, how they're mistreating, fill in the blank. I ask for correction on behalf of myself and this other person. I ask for the correction of the part of me that also believes that attacking others makes me safe. And seeing that the truth of both of those people in that story are exactly the same as your truth. There is total equality. They are the innocent children of God who do not know it and are attacking each other because of that equality. Okay, so we just heard about what projection is. But now we're going back to the light, okay? Remember, in every section, Spirit tells us what we're doing, and it sucks. And we're like, I can't understand what that is saying. That's confusing. And then it tells you, okay, now, here's what you can do if you want a different result. Okay, so we've been using projection to get rid of the attacks that we're making on ourselves and everybody that we don't like, and then blame it on other people, and then use that as a justification to see ourselves as different and better than them. Okay, here is a better way to use projection. That's the way we've been using it. And then the next sentence says, but we know that there's another use of projection, which we will call extension. And why? Because every ability of the ego has a better counterpart, because the ego's abilities are directed by the mind, which has a better voice. And so the Holy Spirit, as well as the ego, utilizes the ability to project. But since the Holy Spirit and ego's goals are opposite, so is the result. So here's how it goes. Here's how spirit, your higher self, uses projection. You ready for a new interpretation, a new use of projection? Okay. The Holy Spirit, your higher loving right mind, begins by perceiving you as perfect, period. And then your higher loving mind, knowing that your perfection is shared, Spirit recognizes this perfection in others, thus strengthening the awareness of perfection in both of you. And instead of anger, this projection arouses love for both, because it establishes inclusion. Perceiving equality, your higher loving self perceives equal needs. And perceiving equal needs, perceiving equality in you and them, that invites correction automatically, because correction of the separation is the one need, which is universal. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, there is a universal need, and it's called correction of rejection, which means correction of projection. We all need that. That's universal. Just look around. The whole world has that problem. Remember, the Course in Miracles says this world came from the belief in separation, which means rejection, which means projection. So we have a universal need here for the correction of rejection, the correction of separation, and the correction of projection. We all have that need. And so the way we would perceive used to be, I'm rejecting, attacking, and then I project it onto you, and then I judge you for it and see myself as better than, okay? That's the way we've been using the ability to project. Our higher loving right mind starts like this. It goes, instead of going, I am attacking, I'm evil, and then let me see it out there because I don't like seeing that in myself. Our higher loving right mind starts with, I'm perfect. It starts with, you are perfect, which means complete, which means lacking nothing, which means not guilty, which means innocent, which means guiltless forever, and so are they. That is the right use of projection. That's how love projects. It starts with, you are perfect, and so are they. And everything else besides this perfection is just a dream, is just a mistake that we're all making that needs correction. It needs loving correction. That's it. We are perfect in ourselves, complete, lacking nothing, guiltless and innocent forever. So are they, and everything else is just a mistake that deserves only loving correction. Now that's the correct use of projection, and that's what our higher loving mind is doing instead of rejecting ourselves and then projecting that rejection and then excluding. Okay? That is the alternative. Okay? So let's take your example. Great example. You saw somebody on a clip on your phone or your TV mistreating somebody else, treating somebody unfairly. If you asked your higher self for the correction of the anger that must be projection, then your higher self would say, remember, you, Janice, are perfect within yourself. You are complete. You're not lacking anything. You're guiltless forever. And so are both of them that you see on that screen. And everything else besides that is their own and your own dream that deserves only loving correction. Okay? So there's your alternative interpretation to that situation where you were projecting, experiencing rage, and making your own ego bigger. Making your ego, what did he say? Maintaining your ego. Feeding it, thank you. Making it bigger. Okay? All right, everybody take a breath on that. It's like, oh, that's the alternative. That never would have crossed my mind. I know. That's why you need A Course in Miracles. That's why it says this need for the correction of the projection of the rejection is a universal need. Everybody needs that correction. I know. Yes.
So I had an experience like that. It was a while ago with my brother, and he's always been really angry with me because for whatever reason, and I'm starting to get emotional. But,
That's all right.
so I was at a restaurant with him, and he was getting very angry at me because, you know, I didn't call him as soon as I got to town. I didn't make arrangements to see him. He was very hurt. And I couldn't, I just, all of a sudden I felt I do not need to defend myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked at him, and I just said, all I know is you are a child of God, as I am. I don't even know where that came from.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked at him and I just said that, and he was just,
wow.
just,
woof. Wow.
and he couldn't say anything more, and I couldn't say anything more, and it was absolutely beautiful.
That's a miracle.
Yep.
That is an expression of the correction, which in this section calls it the atonement. Perceiving equality, your higher self perceived equal needs between you and your brother. You perceiving equal needs between you and your brother, which was to remember you were children of God and innocent, invited correction automatically. Because you recognizing equal needs between you and your brother was the one need that is universal. So that's a perfect expression of this, exactly. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So back to Janice's, you know, when you see somebody coming from their ego, they're projecting and rejecting and excluding and separating and experiencing the rage and the anger that comes with that. For you to go, this person and me have the same need. We both need a correction of our rejection and projection. We both have a need for a correction of our ego. We are the same. You could have been like, well, how dare you? You're so unconscious. But you didn't. You perceived equal needs, and that invited loving correction automatically because you recognize the one need that is universal, that we all share. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, I'm just going to go a couple more sentences and then we're going to stop. Bye, sweetie. Lovely to see you.
Thank you.
Love you too. Okay. And so this is where we started the class. So we're just going to go a couple more sentences and then we'll stop. So to perceive yourself in this way, perfect, equal needs, is the only way in which you can find happiness in this world. To perceive yourself as having equal needs and also perceiving yourself as perfect as them is the only way to find happiness in this world. We have equal needs, and we are both equally perfect, lacking nothing, guiltless and sinless forever, no matter what our ego has been lying to us about. He says, and the reason this is the only way you can find happiness in this world is because this recognition of equal needs and equal perfection, this is the acknowledgement that you are not in this world, for the world is unhappy. In other words, how can you find joy in a joyless place except by realizing that you are not there? You cannot be anywhere that God did not put you, and God created you as part of God. And so that is both where you are and what you are. And this is completely unalterable. And this is total inclusion. And you cannot change this now or ever. It's forever true. It's not a belief, but a fact. And anything that God creates is as true as God is. And what God creates, its truth lies only in its perfect inclusion in God, who alone is perfect. To deny this in any way is to deny yourself and God, because it's impossible to accept one without the other. Hallelujah. All right. So, it's so beautiful. I love it. I love it. You cannot be anywhere but where God put you. and to recognize, to look within yourself first, acknowledge and perceive your perfection, and then look to the other person and see that they are also perfect, which means complete, lacking nothing, guiltless, sinless. And to perceive that you both have equal needs for correction of your ego. This is the only way to find happiness in this world, because this is what enables you to experience the fact that you're not in the world. You're not of the world. How can you find joy in a joyless place except by realizing you're not there? Wow. So this enables you to experience your perfection, your completion, and theirs, and enables all your errors of rejection and projection to be corrected for you. And even here, you can be happy. When you're practicing the truth, when you're aware and practicing of this truth, you can be happy even here. Wow. Well, hallelujah. If that isn't practical, I don't know what is. Tell me how I could be happy here. Tell me. I'm all ears. Okay, Anna. Then allow your higher self to show you your own perfection, and then show you the perfection, the equal perfection of everybody else, and allow the error of separation and exclusion to be corrected in both of you. Okay, that's how you do it. Because now all I see is equality, 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 perfection, equality, perfection, equality. Everywhere I look, perfection, equality, perfection, equality, perfection, equality, everywhere I look. And now, and since my influence over others is unlimited, because I was created as a creator, now I can help many, 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 many others to accept the correction of the ego for themselves. I can support the correction of the universe, the universal need for correction of the ego in others.
So I wanted to pick up on Janice's example and add to it the idea that the Course is not asking us to, it's clearly not asking us to not look at the ego. In other words, the Course is not asking you to turn your eyes away from looking at the injustice that you're perceiving
That's right.
in the world, but also to look beyond it. It's the same as saying, don't turn your eyes away from the crucifixion, but also look beyond it to the resurrection.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And accept the correction of your perception by your higher mind. So when you're looking on something that angers you, this is what your higher self is going, the new interpretation your higher self will give you so that you're cured of your anger, which is just a projection of your own sick, split mind.
So to pick up on this one level deeper, if I'm being mindful, if I'm following what the Course is teaching me, I can use the feeling of anger as a tell for myself.
Thank you.
That I must be projecting. And therefore I have a choice. If I'm projecting, I must have chosen separation / the ego / rejection. And is that really the choice that I want to make?
Exactly. Thank you.
So what I'm suggesting for myself as much as anyone, because God knows I get angry.
Yeah.
To use that feeling, the awareness of the feeling as a tell and a wake-up call that I have a choice.
Yes.
That I can make in this moment.
Exactly. And I like that. Use the anger as your tell, your clue that you are rejecting your own perfection. You're telling yourself, there's something wrong with me. I'm lacking something. I'm inadequate somehow. I have needs that I can't get filled. I'm missing something. There's something wrong with me. The anger lets you know that you're projecting your own rejection of your own perfection. And that as soon as you look out and go, really, this person is equal to me. We have equal needs. They have the same need to remember who they are and allow their ego to be corrected as me. That immediately invites correction automatically. Equal needs. I love that. Perceiving equality, you perceive equal needs, and this invites loving correction automatically. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful. All right, you guys. All right, so we made it through a whole section. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. So let's do our love offering. The basket is right here if you just pass that around. Thank you for your love offerings. Thank you for supporting the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center with your donations, your financial expressions of appreciation. Thank you for helping us to grow so that we can continue extending these ideas out into the world so that the world's universal need for correction can be automatically answered. Okay, so announcements are, I don't think we are doing anything after class today like we normally do. One reason is because Greg's not here. Greg has been doing that. But, and then Greg's in my class, Transforming Relationships Through A Course in Miracles, we have moved it back online, and we've moved the night to Wednesdays. So it's every Wednesday, 7 p.m., live streaming on my YouTube and my Facebook channel. So that's that. My Monday class, which is Practical and Healing Applications of A Course in Miracles, every Monday, live streaming on my YouTube and my Facebook channel. Okay. And what else? And then Dr. Carla and my class, which was monthly, our ACIM monthly workshop is now going to be quarterly, and the next one's going to be in April. So stay tuned for that. And I think we're going to be talking about the real world, okay, how to experience that. Okay, let's see, anything else? All right, so guys, let's just do 1 minute of an integration meditation. Thank you for your love offerings, and then we'll go back out into the lab, the forgiveness lab. Oh, so many opportunities to practice forgiveness. So grateful for all those opportunities to perceive equal needs. All right, you guys, so close your eyes and take a breath. All right. So I want you to bring to your awareness a situation or a relationship in which you have been experiencing some anger recently or right now. Where is it that you have been experiencing some anger, some rage? Beautiful. Now, let us now use projection in the right sense. And so now let us do what our teacher has told us to do in this situation, to reverse the projection. Okay, first we want to tell ourselves this anger is coming from projection of something I am rejecting within myself that I don't like. It's the first thing we want to tell ourselves. I am angry because I am projecting some way that I am rejecting my own perfection. And I have projected that onto them, thinking that if I could just exclude them from myself, that I will be safe. Okay, now we ask our higher selves to reverse this projection that has made us angry, given us a split and sick mind, and we say, Spirit, help me to look first within right now to see and acknowledge my own perfection as a creation of God. I remain exactly as God created me. I remain complete and healed and whole. I lack for nothing as established by God. I am perfect in my innocence and guiltlessness as established by God. And now we're going to project that out and look to the other people in this situation, and we are going to acknowledge their perfection. From the vantage point of our own perfection, we look out and we acknowledge the perfection of the other person or the other people in this situation that we had been projecting on. And we see in the other person or people equal needs with us. They need the same correction that I need. We have equal needs, me and them. And then know that by seeing equal needs between you and them, looking upon their perfection from the vantage point of your own perfection, you have invited loving correction for you both automatically. And now I want you to thank yourself, appreciate yourself for your willingness to hear the truth today. Thank you, self. Thank you, self, for your willingness to hear the healing, loving, correcting truth that releases me and frees me and enables me to help free others with me. Thank you, self. I appreciate you, self. And there's no need for me to reject myself or anything within me anymore. I am the innocent child of God who is but mistaken, and so are they. And we both need and deserve the same loving correction by God. And now, how do you feel now when considering this situation or relationship? How do you feel now? How does this situation or this person look differently to you now? Beautiful. This is the way to use your unlimited influence over others, on others, to free them along with yourself. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, just take another deep breath and bring your awareness back to the room, back to your body. Oh, beautiful. Good work. Give it up to yourselves. Oh, appreciate yourself. Thank you, self. All right. Love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for being here online.